We're going to go to Neil Parish now, former Conservative MP Neil Parish. Neil, what do you make of what we've just seen tonight? So, if you are just joining us, the Rwanda bill has passed, OK? What's your thoughts on that, because of all the turmoil that we see?
Yeah, don't worry, Patrick. I've been tapped into GB News since sort of 9:20, so I've been listening to it all. Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy what the party's done, because they've had a big fight with each other. They've marched up the hill. They've all had to march back down again and accept the Rwanda bill. So I think that, the unity is what matters when it comes to the general election. You made the point that if Labour gets in, they'll probably give an amnesty. They will not tackle the situation. And so the Tory party must come together if they've got any chance of winning the next election or holding as many seats as possible. Because what you don't want is a complete landslide to Labour that allows them to do what they like, ignore the situation over immigration, which people find really so.
I just worry whether or not that falls down, Neil, because I think it might look a little bit like Brexit all over again, where you get a load of really entitled, out-of-touch poshos completely ignoring what the vast majority of the British public want.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a real point there, Patrick. But of course, I mean, what has this huge debate achieved? All it's done is elect the Labour Party, and you had the Labour Party guy there tonight. Really cock a hoot of how terrible it is, dreadful Tories, everything's a total mess. They've got no solutions, and the situation will get worse. So unless, like I said, the party must come together or they will die. They either die, come together and hold, or they die as individuals. This is just, don't forget, I'm old enough to remember 92 to 97. I was a local councillor at the time. They said, Neil, we like you very much, but we're just not voting Tory.
All right.
And this is what's happen again, and we're just feeding it. We don't need to do this. I mean, me sitting away watching Westminster, watching the car crash, they go in, they say one thing, at the end of the day they were always ever going to turn around and vote for the bill when it got there, and that's what makes them all look so stupid, and it makes the party look stupid. And who is it that's gaining from this? The Labour Party, which I believe will not be fit to run this country and will be much worse on the issue over illegal immigration.
OK, all right, let me just take you through, as I'm sure you're aware, but I want to remind our viewers and our listeners here, a couple of the amendments. So the notwithstanding clause, which basically meant that any decision that was made by the ECHR in the dead of night, we could just override, right? So clearly, Sir Bill Cash and whatever the heck these five families are called now. I mean, they're massively dysfunctional families. I mean, all their parents have had a divorce and they've gone off and they haven't met each other for the last however many years, but these are the five families now. They obviously think that needed to be in there because they did not trust Rishi Sunak to overrule the ECHR. You can say the same thing about the other amendment about preventing the Rule 39 injunctions as well, which also failed. Do you think that Rishi Sunak will have the bottle to override any ECHR ruling? And another reason why I asked that is because he spoke to our political editor a couple of days ago and he asked him directly, Christopher Hope asked him directly about that, and he basically said, well, there will be certain circumstances. There'll be certain circumstances. That's not a resounding yes, is it?
No, it's probably not as good an answer as you would have wanted. But I also think, I've got a lot of time for Robert Buckland, because don't forget he is a lawyer, he's a barrister, he understands the law, and I don't understand the law. And I think you'll find if they made this too tight, I think it would be counterproductive. So therefore, I do actually trust Rishi Sunak on this issue to actually ignore the courts, because that's what you'll need to do. But I think by putting it into legislation, I think I would agree that it would make the situation worse, not better. And so I think there has to be some sort of faith. But of course, because the party has divided itself so much over this, it's very difficult for anybody to believe anybody at the moment.
So to be clear, to be clear then, right, the British public have to just accept that this government has decided now, well, look, we're not going to put it in law, right? We're not going to put it in law. I promise you, we're not going to put it in law. So we can't have that there. But this group of people from a particular caucus, the vast majority of whom actually voted for Remain and then did everything they could to deliver the softest Brexit deal imaginable, if they're Brexit deal at all, we just have to trust these people now to, as and when the time comes, override the ECHR. So the British public has to suck that up, do they?
Well, I think they will find that very difficult to accept, but I believe that is the case because I think, the trouble is, Patrick, whatever the common sense of the situation is, the law will be the law. And at the end of the day, I think that is the right solution. And I think people will have to make up their mind when they get to the general election. Do they want Rishi Sunak? Do they want the Tories, or do they want to risk Labour? And it'll be a much more interesting conversation than we're having tonight. But it will be very difficult for the Tories.
Look, Neil, thank you.